What's up, people? This is Dion Mitchell, your favorite entrepreneur with OTCU Financial Solutions. So I just wanted to come at y'all this afternoon because I had some discussions with some coworkers this morning. Sorry about that. Face kind of shiny. Been working. Had some discussions with some co-workers this morning about finances. It's interesting. One of the guys is kind of young, like 25 or so, and the other lady is in her mid-50s. And you know, not to say anything about race, but both of these people are white. So we were talking about finances this morning, and basically just talking about me and her, were telling the younger person the importance of preparing for your future, because of the stigma. I don't think it's just like in one culture versus another. I think it's all cultures, and I think everybody, every culture has some good and bad in it, right? So, for instance, the 55-year-old lady we were talking with, parents never taught her about money either. So that was interesting to me because I probably had this stigma that, like, Caucasian people passed the information from generation to generation, and that just kind of blew my mind that she actually wasn't a recipient of the information, even though her mother did have financial knowledge. And I think it was what she said is that she thought that she was going to ask her for something. And in the case of most families, when somebody starts talking about money, the reaction from the person you're talking to is, oh my God, here they go. They're about to ask me to borrow some money. And that's not what she was really trying to do. She was really trying to find out what she was doing, not necessarily trying to get in her pocket and find out how much money she had or anything like that. She was just trying to get some knowledge so that she can make her future brighter. And that's the case of most of us. All that we're trying to do is to make our futures brighter, but usually when we talk to somebody that is more wealthy than we are, or more well off than we are, there's this like, oh my God, they're finna ask me for some money, so I can't really, tell them how much I have. And I don't think that most people want to know how much money you have. And in my case, I wouldn't want to know how much money you have. I just would want to know what are some things that you did to get to where you are. And I think that's generally what most people want. This discussion we had this morning was very interesting because the 55-year-old, her and her husband, obviously, and at some point, made some really great money. She talked about, like, they lived their retirement throughout their whole life. And that sounded like fantastic to me. But here she is, a little bit older, and now she essentially has to work, right? Because there's no retirement, because they both were self-employed at this time. And now she's at a job because they didn't put anything aside for retirement. And she was just kind of discussing why she was still working. And the young guy was saying, I'm in so much debt, credit cards and 2 brand new cars, just bought a house, just had a baby, all this kind of stuff, the stuff of normal life, right? And he was talking about he doesn't have the money to invest. Now, from my standpoint, with being in my econ and the financial knowledge that I've been acquiring, I was like, no, that's not the case. Like, you can find a way to pay yourself. And that's all it's all really all about. Like, I've been reading several books. The Automatic Millionaire is one. Tells you how to use what you have to get wealthy by the time you're in your 50s and 60s. Now, if you're already 50 and 60s, is it too late? Absolutely not. You can always invest some money and still make your life as comfortable as possible. And I think that is that's what I got from this conversation today. It's never too late. Even though you're young and you think you have all the time in the world, you blink your eyes, and then before you know it, 10 years has passed. And, I've been meaning to save that $100 a month to put in my investment account, but it just hasn't materialized. And I think that's how a lot of people get caught off guard. And that's kind of what our conversation was about. And I was telling them a little bit about what I do and, trying to help people get on the road to financial freedom and all that. But I think for me, more importantly, it was about trying to share some knowledge so that people can make their situations better. Now, did they necessarily want to do what I'm doing to try to expedite that process? No, they weren't really interested, and that's okay. It's just about sharing information, because I believe when you put good information out there and good intentions, that comes back to you tenfold. I think that when you find people and y'all have conversations like this that are not the norm, like it was 3 of us actually in the conversation that were actually speaking and presenting our ideas, presenting our perspectives, our individual views. And we had a person early in life, a person in the midlife, which is me, and then somebody later in life. And the dynamic of just us 3 talking, we had realistically 4 people outside of us that were actually listening to what we were saying. So information was being shared that is vital to people understanding that you not only have to take care of what you have going on right now as far as your current lifestyle, the bills you have, the debt you have, and all that, but you also need to concern yourself with your future and what that's going to look like, and how you're going to retire, and how much money you're going to have when you retire. So I think people often misconstrue, saving is going to hurt me right now. Well, it will a little bit. I mean, just a little bit. I think saving a little now versus not having nothing later is much better than living the life like there's no tomorrow today, and then when tomorrow comes, you have nothing to show, and you have to work into your 60s and 70s and 80s trying to get a place where you can have enough money so you can match that with Social Security if you're old enough. But for my generation, I don't even think that's going to be it's a non-factor. And anybody younger than me, definitely not going to happen for you. So I think you need to concern yourself with not only what's going on in your life today, you need to concern yourself about what's going to happen in your future. How do you actually want to live? So, and I'm going to, take this and make it go full circle back to what I do, because I think it's important for people to understand that taxes, refunds, minimizing your debt, minimizing some of your expenses, and getting to a place where you can actually invest money for your future is the way to be really wealthy, right? So it's not about having a ton of money. I mean, ton of money is nice. I would like to have a ton of money myself. But if everything is taken care of, and then by the time you get old enough to you say, you know what, this is it. I am done working. Whether you're working at a job, whether you're self-employed, any of that. You want to have something in place, or something that is working for you. Or as one of the mentors in my econ says, something has to work, just not me, right? Like, you need to have something going on that can still generate money without you having to do anything. No effort on your part, no physical labor, none of that. And I think the conversation I had today really highlighted that. We had a younger person, mid-20s, 25 I think, hadn't invested a quarter at all. And this guy is young, you know, new baby, new wife, new house, all that, not invested. We had me, who's investing, who's kind of in the middle, but just kind of, I've started a few years ago, but I kind of like slacked up, but now I'm starting to get really back into it because I'm getting older and I know eventually I want to retire. So I'm putting more emphasis on putting money aside for the future lifestyle, more so than right now. And then we had the older lady, 55 plus, who's at the stage in the game where she had the money throughout her life, her and her husband, to invest and do all this, but they just didn't. And now they're at a place where they're not in bad shape, but they're not in the best of shape either, because she's still working and her husband still works. So she works at a W-2 job and he is self-employed. But right at this moment, there's no way for either one of them to quit working. And I mean, the situation is not dire, but it does illustrate the thought process between the three, right? Young, middle-aged, and older. So I just wanted to get on and share that with everybody, because I thought it was very interesting that these two individuals would share that kind of information with me once I started talking about finances, because everybody always says that, you know, Dion, all you do is talk about money. And one of the mentors, or one of the people that coach in the my econ business, often says I talk about money a lot because I ain't got none. If I can get money out the way, right, and it's not a factor anymore, then I'll stop talking about money. But until I get to the point where I'm comfortable enough to say, okay, everything is set, I'm good to go, I'm going to be talking about money, because I need some money, right? Like, you always talk about those things that are important to you and that you need the most of. I need some money. Once I get some money and I feel comfortable that my retirement is already fully funded and everything is good, then I'll start talking about money. But until then, I'm gonna talk about money every day. So you get what you think about. You know, as a man thinketh, right? Read a couple of books, get some knowledge, figure it out, surround yourself with the right people, and it'll happen for you. That's kind of the process. But if I start talking about, you know, the latest pair of shoes and not having no money, those are the things that I attract to myself. And why would I want to do that? I'm trying to get wealthy, and I'm trying to make sure that my retirement is fully funded. So what do you need to retire? Well, retirement is not about an age, right? So most people seem to think, oh yeah, you got to be 60, 65 when you retire. No, that's absolutely incorrect. Retirement is a function of money. It's having enough money set aside so you don't have to worry about money. So you can retire at 32 if you got enough money. You can retire at 22 if you got enough money. I'm just saying, retirement is not a function of age, it's a function of money. You got enough money, you could retire. It's just that simple. So until I get enough money to where I can retire, I'm going to be talking about money and surrounding myself with people that are headed in that same direction. Right? So I'm going to keep the thought processes with the people that are around me the same as my thought process. Getting wealthy, getting my lifestyle in the future taken care of, because I haven't been doing such a good job for the first 47. Now I'm in this my econ business, and now I'm trying to catch up on some of the stuff I could have done like earlier had I known it. Was that anybody's fault? No, absolutely not. Can't blame that on parents, can't blame that on nothing, on anybody. You are an adult. Once you pass 21, you can make some choices in life that will get you on the road to financial stability and wealth, or you don't, right? That's your choice as an adult. Once you become 18, 21 years old, nobody actually can stop you from doing anything you want to do. You just don't do it because you're trying to keep up with your friends, or your family is, blowing your head up, saying I'm big money or whatever, big money and all this stuff, and you think you got it made. But actually, in all actuality, when you get a little later in life and you start looking at like, okay, I'm getting tired of working, and you start looking at your money, and then you figure out that you're not in as good of shape as you thought you were, right? So that's what I got for you today, people. So I'm just trying to share a little information, drinking my green goo, because I'm trying to lose a little weight and be a little healthy. So that's all I wanted to say to y'all today, that I had a conversation that was very interesting about finances. And if more people start talking about money and more people start sharing information, everybody would be better off. All right, this is Dion Mitchell, OTCU Financial Solutions in the house. If y'all want to know more about what I do, please contact me. You can reach me at area code 615-933-9813 and talk to me personally. Or if you just want information to kind of see what I'm doing, I'll send you to this site, www.incomeshifting.com. That is www.incomeshifting.com. Check out the little presentation. It'll give you a great overview of the My Econ business and what its associates are all about. If somebody tagged you in this video, please get back with them. If you're looking at this video on OTCU website or my personal website, feel free to either inbox me or call me. Again, my number is 615-933-9813. All right, everybody, I hope y'all having a wonderful day. It's kind of rainy here in Nashville, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. All right, peeps, I'll holler at y'all later.